Hello. So, set up. See? Well, anyway, this setup. Okay. So, knowing that I have these bottles, and the problem with the bottle is I don't have a thing that fits into it and will prevent it from kind of going floppy moppy on here. So, I have bedding. And that's what I'm going to do. So, I'm going to stage it so I can see where I'm at on here. And there's a lot of room in there because you see the circumference is different. So, I'm going to throw some of this in here to kind of fill up the space. And since I wanted to be able to fit around the two, I'm going to put both ends in to fill up the space. Because I know I'm not going to be able to shove it in there once the tube is in there. So we are doing it this way. And hopefully I don't get my fingers stuck in the bottle. So I'll test it. Make sure it's not floppy. And hey, look at there. I wasn't sure how much I'd need, but this appears to be just the right amount. So I can actually have this again, which is what I'm going to do. And then we'll stuff it like I just did here. So we'll do that. This is all a matter of process, figuring out exactly what I got to do to turn these. And since I like to use whatever resources I have available, that's why I go with my batting. Because I'm a seamstress and do all kinds of other sewing, I figured, what the heck? I have supplies of all different kinds. So, like I said, I want to shove it equally on both sides. Sure, we will stuff this down inside the bottle. Like so. Because we don't want this to get caught on the rotation device. And this is a really nice machine. Because unlike just having a set screw, which can, loosen up or whatever else, this one actually has it right through the shaft, right through the part. Runs nice and quiet. It has a very slow rotation. I'll put it on this side for you to see it, but I gotta work on this side. I might just flip it around and put my pad over there so you can see. Anywho, I can work on or turn two bottles at the same time. They're going to continue to rotate while they are curing. So that way, it stays even because it's self-leveling. So the stuff that I'm using is 100% VOC free. It's also stuff that is, oh darn, it's backwards. Sorry about that. Oh, actually, I think when I replay it, it'll be the right way. So, anywho, there's part A and part B. And it had two separate directions. One says twice of one and other ones say, equal parts. Actually, it should be equal parts. Anybody who's done any epoxy knows that it's equal parts. Mind you want to mix in small batches because when you mix in a large batch, it actually cures faster. So make sure that you mix in small batches. And since we're doing small projects, that's not going to be a problem. Now, if I were doing a countertop, I would have to plan it out pretty well to make sure that I could do even applications across the countertop. Depends on the size of your countertop too. Anywho, now, this one, now I put it on there, should be fairly well balanced. I'm going to kind of open it up so that way it goes evenly in the middle. This is just to help it from going ding, 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 ding on the end of it. Kind of helps keep it centered. Now, there's different things I could do, and I may do it later, is that I will, there we go. is that I will take and, see? Now I should rotate and not fall. Not exactly square on there. Might want to square it up just a little bit. So I'll square it up a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to make sure that one is fairly balanced, and two, that it's not going to bind. And it's not going to bind with that just rolling around there. It's another reason for using the batting, because it'll just kind of do its little thing. See? A little more even now, which is what I want. Now this itself does not have an actual coating on it, so it should accept the epoxy pretty well. You're figuring it out with me. Isn't this lovely? So anywho, we're gonna move our mat. This is a silicone mat. Should help with any spillages. I'm gonna move it back here a little bit, so that way I got more room. And I will put a second one, and we'll stage a second one, because I'm going to be figuring out exactly how much epoxy is also going to be needed. Now, the measurements on these cups are all just approximations. It even tells you that on it, that it's just an approximation. But you line them up, and they should be fairly equal with each other. So you want to have one for measuring out your two different sides, and the one for mixing. And I have multiple cups, so I've got a lot of these little bitty cups, and you can buy more of these things. I can even take these and buy some solo cups and mark out solo cups. Anything that's inexpensive. None of this has to be, you know, over the top. Even the epoxies and everything else didn't come to a whole lot, and you're working on small projects, so no big deal. Makes it pretty simple. Anyway, these all have measurements on them. Did you see it? Can you see it? See, measurements, ha. Now make sure you mix equal parts, A and B. So one is one acts as an accelerator to the other. Cups, just because I feel like putting them there. And I will get a second bottle. No, we're getting a second bottle. Ha. Set that aside. And we will equally shove this into the hole. And that way we can put it on our spindle equally. Try to keep it straight as I'm pushing it down in there. Because yes, it's going to bunch up while it goes in the tube, but I want to make sure it's equal parts on both sides. That way when I open it up in the center and put that in there, it can kind of go where it needs to. I'm going to pop this side. Ta-da-da-da-da. That way it looks like a little bum hole. Now, I would recommend that you make sure you keep these, you're going to keep it clear of your legs, because it's got legs. This is actually nice. I've seen some of these other models that have legs that stick out to the sides and stuff, and it's really hard to cover them. And I chose this particular model, which, if you can see it, can you read it? It's spelled W-A-Q-O-N-U-Y. Okay. They're pretty pop. They have, like I said, there's all different models. None of them are too terribly expensive for turning. This one, like I said, I really like the PVCs on this one. The fact that these are a needle bearing, so it runs really quiet in the needle bearing. And the motor, you can't hear it. It's quiet. And it also tells you on the thing, if you hear any noise from bearings or the motors or anything else, contact the company. They're usually pretty good about sending whatever you need for replacements. So as you see, my little guys are rotating here. This is a little off. They're both a little off. I'll wait till that one gets to its top. And I'll turn it on. And it's a good idea that with these guys on here, that you take a little alcohol wipe and wipe them down just to make sure that they're clean and clear. I'm doing this in a room where none of my animals are allowed. Nobody is actually sleeping in here right now. So that way, you know, things aren't getting moved around a lot. I do not have forced air. Everything's done with radiators in my house, so that way there isn't air being blown around. I do have fans that I can set up and put in the windows if need be for circulation. I do have a ceiling fan too, which has been cleaned, so it also does not have any dust on it. But you want to keep dust levels down as minimal as possible. That way you maintain the finish on your epoxy projects. So anyway, this is stage 1, and I will be posting the next stage. Talk to you later.